All right, the happy people. All right, the Bucks. It is Talking Buccaneers with me, Fumane after Orlando Pirates 1, Supersport United 0. And you know what? Let's not lie. Let's not beat about the bush. Scrappy win for us. No threat. Didn't lay a glove on Supersport United at all. No intensity in attack. Disjointed attack. Won it via penalty towards the end. But the mandate before the game would have been, let's go out there and get the 3 points. And that's what we did. Win nonetheless. So I don't care how we win it. We got the 3 points. This was a vital one. This was a very important win for us. And you know what? These days are there in football. Sometimes you've got to win scrappy. Sometimes you don't play the most amazing football. And the mark of a good team is when you don't play those, when you're not at your best, when you're not at your free-flowing, attacking, fluid best, can you win the games? And the answer today is yes. We won it. We got the 3 points, very important 3 points. Playing at home versus our biggest rival, chasing them down, got the 3 points. This is all that matters to me. Everyone who's going to who's going to be negative, you know, all those people that whose teams wear yellow, they're going to say whatever they want to say. But Buccaneers did the job. At the end of the season, it's going to be, did we get the 3 points or not? And the answer is yes. Anyway, let's get into it. We set up with a 4-2-3-1 for this one. I was very impressed with the starting lineup when we started, besides my huge concern that we are insisting to play a left back at right back. But I'm not going to delve into that today, especially when we've won a game. It's one of those where you can't really fault a winning team. You can, but it's a pointless exercise. But otherwise, I was very impressed with the starting 11. Special mention. Very happy to see Monari. I think he's probably one of our best holding midfielders, in my opinion. I like Tim. I think Tim is very disciplined, gives his best every time. Very safe, very responsible in the middle of the park, and plays his heart out. You know, wears his heart on his sleeves as well. Very passionate player. I love him, but I just think Monari is just a quality player. You know, at his age, the way he's able to cover the distances in that midfield. You know, one of the beautiful things that you get to witness when you watch these players live is you get to see them when the ball is not at their feet. So the biggest disadvantage for me when I watch the game on TV and things like that is you don't get to get the full picture of what's happening on the pitch, right? So you've got to focus of, okay, this is where the player's at and your eyes are there. But when you're watching it live, when the play is over on the left side, you can watch what's happening on the right. And I just love to watch Monari, just how he will cover distances in midfield, how he plays with his head up, you know, very aware of what's going on around him. You can never get the ball off him. Just one of my favorite players in that Pirates midfield. And personally, for me, my man of the match today. So all of you Buccaneers can come at me and bite my head off, because I know a lot of people are critical about why we played with two holding midfielders. I think there was a time in the game where the game was crying out for a bit of creativity. That's a fair shout. You know, I'm not against that shout. But I do think that coming into the game, the coach wanted some responsibility in midfield. And I guess one of the biggest critics for Ndlondlo at this point, at this time, is that he's irresponsible sometimes in midfield. He loses balls, very easy to knock off the ball, which is a huge surprise to me, because I thought he's someone who's very good, low center of gravity, very strong, press resistant. This is the player that we all know and we saw, especially for a very short stint in the start of his Pirates career, but also at Marumo Gallants. He's just that player that, you know, very good on the ball, breaks lines with the ball at his feet, protects it, gets the team going forward, breaking lines, you know, running at players and things like that. And we've seen a bit of that, but ever since a few games that Ndlondlo has played for Pirates, I don't know if it's a role change. I don't know if it's something, instructions from management for him to be a bit more conservative, you know, play within himself a little bit. I don't know if it's whether that, you know, at Marumo Gallants he felt more responsibility to be the guy who's going to win games for the team. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but I think the coach would have wanted to be responsible coming into this one, and his thought would have been, okay, let's start with Munari and Tim. I don't know where Makehleni Makaula is. He's missing on the 18. Played a good game against Swallows FC and just went missing from there on. So I guess I just can't explain what's going on there. We're seeing the return of Fortune Makaringe. I don't think he's played brilliantly ever since coming back, but at least he's getting some minutes. He's another one who was a bit of a worry where he was. We all didn't know what was happening with him. But yeah, anyway, the point being that I was happy with the starting 11 especially. I thought Lodge was going to miss this one. I personally thought that the coach was going to stick with Dion Otto. Didn't play Otto at all, but I'll get to that a bit later on in the show. Decided to start with Lodge, who I thought was going to sit on the bench. Kemet Erasmus, Jugamanja also not there, so Kemet Erasmus started this one. Return of the captain, Innocent Maela, decent performance at left back. Good performance at centre back, but I'll get to that in a bit. But Supersport playing in a 3-4-3, arguably a 3-4-2-1. Lepasa playing more as a left forward, sometimes coming back to help out on that left side. Bradley Hobra up front, as we all expected. Especially in midfield. Special shout out for me, Keegan Johannes. Tapelo Maseko at left wing back, number 40. Young players that Supersport United is playing with. Very tactically disciplined in the system that Coach Gavin Hunt wants to play. Megaman also in that middle of the park, young player as well. Very, very mobile, very dynamic. Just good player. Special shout out to them. I think Pirates should be having a look at some of these players before the team from Pretoria. I know that Megaman in midfield is on loan from Sundowns. So, but I think these are some of the players that Pirates should be looking at. Very good players. At least looking at, I'm not suggesting that we should sign them, but probably, they've got more scouts than I can imagine. People are already watching them, but special shout out to them. I thought they had a great game. Keegan Johannes, maybe I've already mentioned him at centre back alongside Tulani Hlachwayo in the back three. Solid performance from Supersport United. I think Supersport United came and did what they did. We were just very good, especially defensively. I think we stopped them from doing what they wanted to do. Supersport United came to Orlando Stadium for one chance. They got that chance, and Shaina produced a brilliant save. Shout out to him for that. This is something that I want to see going forward, because I think we've seen a lot of great or just, good moments in him helping Pirates, especially in the build-up play. But something that I know a lot of Pirates fans have had as a question mark, and I have as well, is he a good shot stopper? Because when you are a team like Pirates, you might not teams might not attack you, especially when you're a goalkeeper. You might not see play for a long time. And that one time where the opposition get a chance, can you show up and produce a brilliant save? And I think he did today. Special shout out to him. But otherwise, we nullified Supersport United. What they came to do, no build-up whatsoever from them. Just hoping to get those second balls, hoofing the balls upfield, hoping that Bradley Grobler is going to drop them, and then mobile players around him. Zakele Lepasa, very mobile, running around. It would be interesting to see the distance that some of those Supersport players covered. Just to see them in counter-attack when they get a transition moment, just the speed and the numbers that they try and get forward like this is... it's amazing to witness, although that's not the kind of football that I think is beautiful to watch, especially if you're a team like Pirates. But they're good at what they do. But otherwise, we nullified them, and I'm so happy for that. Failed to lay a glove on our side going forward. Very disjointed attack from Orlando Pirates. And this is one of the concerns for me. I know I said that I'm happy with the 3 points and things like that, but I've got a few concerns, especially for us, is that I think something that is persisting is this idea that in the moments that matter, our front players are not showing up. I think it's, again, another flat performance from the likes of Lodge today. Saleng, flat performance from him. Kabelo Dlamini, flat performance from him. Kemet Erasmus, flat performance from him as well. And just one of my biggest frustrations, especially with, if I may just single out Kabelo Dlamini, I think he's a brilliant player. I've been on this platform and praised him, putting my head on the line, because I know a lot of people are asking that he should not play at all. He doesn't offer Pirates anything, but he's always playing. I think, my biggest frustration with him is because I just think he's a brilliant player. I think he's just got something that we don't have at Pirates, apart from Lorch, maybe, who can do that sort of thing. However, like, just how he's very neat on the ball in midfield. We don't have a lot of neat players on the ball. He's very neat, and he's got a slick touch, and he's very silky in how he plays. He can move around very easily along just gliding across the pitch. How he can receive on the half turn in pockets and turn and face forward and play those 1-2s. I like a player who plays 1-2s, especially in the pockets, where you break lines in movement and intelligence and passing and receiving it again, passing, opening, receiving again. I think Kabelo Dlamini is one of the players that can do that sort of thing for us, but he just then betrays his own work with his end product. I think he's lacking an end product. Sometimes he'll take terrible corners and things like that. He'll make a bad decision where he'll hold on to it when he's supposed to release a player. Just that's my biggest frustration with him, that he's got so much potential for us, but I guess maybe we need to stop talking about potential with him. I think he's 27 years this year, if not 26. I think he's 27 years this year. I think we've got to get to a point where we stop talking about potential with Kabelo Dlamini, and he's got to produce now. He's no longer someone who we still hope that in future he can be a great player for us. This is the time. At 27 years old, I think he's supposed to produce now. This is where we should see the player that we've always hoped and known is there in him. But I guess he always betrays himself. I think he's a great player. He just betrays himself with his end product. Again, flat performance from Lorch as well. Big player. I think that my biggest cry is these are the people that should take responsibility. Players like Lorch and Saleng is maybe put himself in that position where we've got high expectations from him now. It's by his own performances that Pirates players and everyone is expectant of him now. But again, flat performance from him, flat performance against Chiefs, and it's this up and down that I guess I'm concerned with our attack, is that played poorly against Chiefs. I remember Stellenbosch, brilliant game versus Stellenbosch. Front players just finding each other, very connected, very fluid in everything that we did. We won, I think, 5-1 against Stellenbosch United. 3 p.m. kickoff, where you think maybe the players might be a bit down. There's not a lot of noise at the stadium, but the players were buzzing and they were very dynamic and finding each other. We won 4-1, great attack, or 4-1 maybe actually. I'm just not sure anymore. And then you go to the Chiefs game, flat performance from the players, where big moments you're expecting that players like Lorch are going to rise to the occasion. They're going to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and win it for us at FNB Stadium. Flat performance, we lose against Chiefs. Following game, Swallows FC. From nowhere, fluency again, fluent attack, fluid in everything that we do, 4 goals. And then you play against Venda again, another frustration where, okay, there were moments where you could see that we were knocking and doing things like that, but we failed to score the goal. So I think the biggest concern for me is this up and down where you don't know what you're going to get on a given day, especially when it's the moments that matter. You just don't know which Lorch you're going to get. Saleng for a long time, and I mean, I don't want to drag him into this conversation because he's at times just grabbed Pirates by the scruff of the neck. He's grabbed everyone and just won games single-handedly, if I may say. But yeah, again, he's also maybe dipped a little bit in form past few games. I mean, I would hope, because getting to the business end of the season now, this is when we need the players to show up at a time where we need to get the points now. For us to get into that African Champions League position, we're going to need these players to score goals for us. But I guess, we'll take wins however they come, because if it's 3 points, then that's fine. But I do think that the front players need to find some form going forward. But yeah, again, just want to say solid performance from the defense. Great performance from Kosnati Sbisi, who I saw was given man of the match, was voted man of the match. Oki played brilliantly. He got subbed off. I don't know whether that's an injury. I don't know if that's a tactical thing. I wasn't really the wiser. I was none the wiser with why are we pulling Tapelo Koki and bringing on Teto. So I hope it's not injury. But if it's not injury, why are we doing that? Is that a tactical thing? Is Teto good in the air? I just don't understand that substitution. I don't understand a lot of substitutions that we did. But I'll get to them. Just quickly, I think we played a great defensive game because what Supersports would have wanted to do was to get those balls to Bradley Grobler, bring them down and get their front players moving in and around him in those second balls. But I thought we cleaned up well. Munari team, great cleaning up, which is something that I don't think Ndlondlo would have offered us in that regard in terms of cleaning up around, those second balls and things like that. So I think very solid defense from our back four, including the keeper 5 and the 2 ahead of the defense, which is Tim and Munari. Very solid performance from both of them, and then just complete opposite side of the spectrum from the front players, the front four, Dlamini, Lodge, Saleng, and Erasmus up front. But a few things were a bit of a shocker for me. Like, for example, I'm not mad at why Otto didn't play. I'm a bit I'm always worried with why Pule doesn't get games, doesn't get time on the pitch. He will get maybe a game against Venda and things like that, which no disrespect to them, but it's a smaller game. You'll see him in those games. But yeah, I just didn't understand the substitution in the second half where Salibu Maru was introduced and he played at left wing. You had Otto and Pule on the bench. I'm not advocating for Otto should play there. I think Otto, I've said this, that maybe he should get some time on the bench. But why would you bring on Maru at left wing? So that's one of the other things that I was concerned with. I think there's always just something that's concerning around Pirates. And it's some of these decisions around substitutions, who plays and things like that. There's a lot of things said out there about there's involvement of management and certain people making decisions around who plays. I can't say that for sure, but definitely would like to ask those questions because they are concerning. There are simple decisions like, okay, well, you want to bring on a left wing. You've got Pule and you've got Loch. You've got Pule and you've got Otto. When you pulled Teminkosi Loch at left wing, why are you bringing on Maru at left wing? That doesn't make sense to me. I thought let me be honest, not impressed with the substitution of bringing on who's the striker, number 17, Evidence Mahopa. I appreciate that these players, we should judge them on their performance, so their performance will be based on the time that they get on the pitch. But I do think that, honestly, I just haven't seen enough that impresses me with some of these players. Maru, Mahopa. I would have had like a midfielder play there, like Pule maybe. I would play Loch maybe as a false 9, things like that. But anyway, that's just my opinion. He brought on Mahopa and Maru at left wing, which is something that for me was a bit of like a concern. Although this is the last resort for me, but I would have even brought Otto at left wing in those dying moments of the game where you brought out Loch. Why are you playing Maru there? I don't think that's doing good for him. I think he's a striker. Play him at striker because then we as the fans look at him playing at left wing and go, this guy's not offering us anything. Is he another case of Kwame Pepra where we went and signed a player that none of us knew about? Obviously, we trust Pirates that they've got the scouting they've got the scouting department, they've got the scouting resources that none of us have. They will have watched these games and they will have seen these players. We hope so. That giving the go-ahead in terms of, whoever's responsible for signing players or at least making that final decision, giving it that final stamp, whether it be the director of football at Pirates, or whether it be the head coach. He would have seen something that we wouldn't have seen in Salibu Maru. But then we then see these players and go, he's not really what we thought he would be or expected, right? I think we've signed a lot of international strikers, or foreign strikers, let me say, that none of us knew about, and they just all haven't worked yet. And I just think that playing someone like Maru at left wing is a bit of an injustice for him. Like, why not play him at striker and bring on Otto or Pule at left wing? Why play him at left wing? It's just something that I don't understand, but I don't know what you think. What do you think, Buccaneers? This is something that, sitting there watching the game, I sat there just wondering. And it's my concern that we always make substitutions that are quite questionable for me, And but in conclusion, just final thoughts. At the time of recording this, Chiefs are playing. They are 2-1 up. I hope that Fadlu Davids will do us a favor, do one over that team that I don't like from across from where I stay. They stay just like behind where I stay. I just hope he'll do us a favor against that team, maybe a 2-2 draw, or at the time of recording, the score is 2-1. I saw Dolly and who's the other striker that Chiefs play, the number 8 guy, Saile, I think. 2-1. It was Maritzburg were 2-0 down, and they got a goal in the 20th minute or something like that. So at the time of recording, that's the standing. Chiefs is level on points with us, 37 points. We've closed the gap, thankfully enough, from 5 to 2 points. I think we've gotten ourselves, in the right position to be chasing down Supersport United. In the pre-match, video, I spoke about, the coach said that we've got 8 more finals before playing Supersport. It's 7 now. We've passed our first test, going into the international break. Very important for us to have gotten into this international break, and into the last 7 games that are remaining with, the gap being minimized. I think that's important for us. It's going to help us with momentum. Some of the players are going to go away. They'll be playing internationally. Some of those will be playing with Bafana. I think players like Otto and maybe Maru, I don't know. I'm not sure about the foreign players, but I know 3 of our players will be with the national team, Mayela, Saleng, and I think Tim. Is it Tim? Saleng, Mayela, and Sibisi. Sibisi, Tim didn't make that final cut, but Sibisi, Mayela, and Saleng will be out with the national team. But a lot of time, 2 weeks for the manager, for the head coach to be working with the team, treating this as an isolated final. It's like a mini season that we have now. We've got a mini season of seven games, potential 21 points. I think getting 19 out of those 21 points will be a Herculean task, but it's the task that we have ahead of us that we'll need to do now. I think that's the aim now, is to get at least 19, maybe 18. If we lose one game, win 6 out of 7, or win 6, draw 1. I know it's easy for us to sit here and say that, but looking at the fixtures, big fixtures, by the way, I think they're doable. The first one of which is traveling away to Richards Bay, another good team. I think that's going to be an effort. It's going to have to be an effort from the players. A lot of Pirates players playing over there. They've had a good season themselves. I know at some points they were number 2. They sat on that number 2 position for quite a while. But I back these Buccaneers. I think if they show up, we can win any game in the PSL. I think even against Sundowns, we're very capable. We've shown that we can beat them tactically and just by quality. Some of our players, especially if they can have an off day, which they rarely do, but we can beat even Sundowns. But I back us to beat any team in the PSL. And if we show up against Richards Bay, but this is, I will do a pre-match analysis before that. But I think just going into it, we're all hoping that yeah, the Pirates that we know can show up will show up. But before that, international break for us, 2 weeks off. We can all take a deep breath. Recuperate. These players can go and be on that training pitch with the coach, plan for this final mini season of 7 games. But yeah, until that time, until the Richards Bay game, I'll be here doing other things, other exciting shows that I have for you Buccaneers. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I appreciate all of you that have already. I appreciate the engagement in the comment section. There's been a lot of engagement on TikTok, a lot of engagement on Instagram. I appreciate it very much. There's still a lot to come from our side, Talking Buccaneers. Thank you for all your support. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Please like the videos. That helps a lot. That's actually something that helps us a lot. And I guess it helps in the algorithm that the videos get recommended. Other Buccaneers get to find the channel, they get to find the page. Let's all engage, let's all talk. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate the hate comments as well. I think some I take as criticism, constructive criticism. Some are sometimes just very personal, which I don't understand, but I appreciate them too. It's all good. Yeah, anyway, until the next time I sit on this table, or another table for that, up the mighty Bucks. Cheers. Let's enjoy this 3 points. Cheers.